Hi, and welcome to episode 15 of the Dittmer Knittery podcast. I'm Bev, and you can find me and Dittmer Knittery on the internet right here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Etsy, and Instagram. All those places and more. And you can find the information in my description box. Please take a look and get in touch. Whether you are a new viewer or a returning subscriber, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. I sometimes mention other channels. That's really hard to balance because there's not time to talk about all of you. If I mention the same channels and content creators often, it's probably because I interact with them often. Or in the case of some bigger, more popular podcasts that I do watch, I've been watching them for a long time, and so I feel connection in that way. It takes those communications, those connections to build relationships. So I mean it when I say I want to hear from you, I want to have a conversation, even if it is through the text or through screen or through this screen. I can't meet you for a coffee or shop with you for yarn at Joann or meet you for a knit night. So I do what I can to hold up my end of that communication deal that I try to make with you. I reply to all my comments, and I try to really engage when I reply to comments. I check to see if I've overlooked watching someone who's commenting. If you are a content creator and you've commented, I try to make sure that I'm at your channel, watching your videos, making comments. I appreciate you. I compare my watch history to the channels I subscribe to. So if I can see on my watch history that I haven't looked at certain channels lately, I'll go to those channels and see if I need to catch up on their videos. It's not a perfect formula, but I watch as much as I can. Since I was looking at my watch history, I'll give you a few channel names from there. In no particular order, here are some of the channels I've watched in, say, the last 10 days to 2 weeks. Kim the Crafty Nomad. I try to catch all of her videos. She's one of those who inspired me to start my channel. I enjoy interacting with her and the lunch crew that she used to do some lives at lunch, and she still does, but there for a while she did them. I think, gosh, was she doing it every day for a while? Anyway, I'm so pleased when Kim says, oh, there's Bev, part of my lunch crowd. Thanks, Kim. Pricilla of Distinctive Crochet, someone else who also encouraged me to start my channel and was an influence, a positive influence that got me to do that. Pricilla, it seems to me she can crochet or knit or maybe do just about anything she puts her mind to. I admire that. She does not shrink from a challenge. It's really fun to watch. Check her out if you haven't already. Of course, I watch Lisa LadybirD. I watch her lives. I enjoy, she does some hushed hooking. She does gardening. She has a cat. She has a wonderful accent. And she's just an all-around nice person and really fun to watch. She recently made herself a nice blue cuddly cardigan. You need to take a look at that. It looks really nice, and she did a great job on it. Of course, I watch Setta's Place. Setta has a way of reaching people, of being soothing. I always enjoy what she's talking about, and I've watched many of her videos, including those where she traveled cross country when she moved from, gosh, I'm not sure where she left. I want to say South Carolina. I'm not sure if that's right. Forgive me, Setta, if I've got that wrong. But she drove all the way to Alaska, and I watched many of those videos, in particular when she went through Nebraska and stopped there because that's where I grew up, and I really enjoyed seeing that. I watch Charlette of Crochetatmyhouse. Charlotte is in Scotland. She is quite charming, and her work, her crochet, is always charming and classic. she just has a way of bringing something very light and joyful to the work she does and her podcasts. Yes, I do have a list. On Sunday mornings, I try to catch Jeanette, DOY Creations. She is live my time from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Sundays. I try to catch that. That's a great crowd. Jeanette makes really nice crocheted wearables, and she just crochets while she talks to us. I love her voice, and like I said, I enjoy seeing my Yarny friends there in her lives. I've started watching Brenda, the Newbie crocheter, a nice, generous, calm spirit. I really enjoy watching her. Thanks, Brenda, for what you bring to our fiber community. I watch Marieanne, the Crochety Clogger. She's a favorite that I've been watching for some time. She's also one that, Marieanne, I haven't watched as often as I would like to recently because I've been working. So if you haven't seen me around, I'll be back. I'll be there. Petra's Happy Place is another one that I've only watched a few of hers, but I've joined in some of the lives and enjoyed the dialogue, enjoyed Petra very much. I think she says it Petra. Petra inspired me to buy some cubes for my yarn room, for my knittery, so you'll be seeing those once I get all that set up, and that's been a great thing. Thank you, Petra. That was a great decision for me to buy those things, and it got me motivated in many ways. I'll go into that when I talk more about the cubes. Gina of the Knitting Turnpike. Now this is a lot of who I've mentioned are crocheters. Gina of the Knitting Turnpike, of course, is a knitter. And she is very generous with her knowledge, which appears to be vast. She's patient. She does really good demonstration of showing how the stitches work, how the knitting stitches come together, and I'll be watching more of her. And thanks, Gina, for what you bring to our fiber community. FiberFoxStudios is a video that I watch for tutorials, and I have bought some of her charts. I enjoy the videos. The charts have been spot on, easy to read. Her tutorials about mosaic crochet have led me down that mosaic crochet rabbit hole. Thank you, appreciate that. I've watched some of TL Yarncrafts crochet hacks in the past few days, and I've started watching Reggie of J-Hook Crochet. Reggie does a great job with her videos. Gosh, I'd say I aspire to that quality, but it's going to be a long time before I get there. And Reggie has started what she calls the Yarniversity, providing a lot of information to us. She's very generous. It's clear that she does research, and she presents things in a way that allows her to both share the information and interact with us during the live. I really appreciate that. And like I said, thanks, Reggie. Maybe one day I'll get close to having some kind of that quality in my videos, but I know I'm a ways from there. I'm not knocking myself. I just know I'm a ways from there. I've been watching a few of the larger popular channels. The Bearded Purl, Caleb and Justin. So Caleb, I believe, did a few videos on his own, and then Justin, his partner, joined him, and they make a great podcast pair. Their interaction and the projects they do are interesting and fun, and give them a watch. That's how you'll find out how much fun they are. One of my very, very favorites, a podcast I watch, I've even watched some of the episodes more than once, it's very dear to me, is a pretty large and popular podcast, and that's Kay and Dan Jones of the Bakery Bears. Kay does knit and crochet. Dan knits, and they have a 2-hour podcast every other week. It's a lot of fun to watch. They do lifestyle segments. They do history segments. They take us on walks, and I just find the whole 2 hours altogether entertaining, and it's one of those that I've made a connection with because I've watched it for so long. I've watched every episode, some of them more than once. If you choose to watch one episode, I would suggest you watch episode 24. Take a look. And then after you've watched that one, maybe you'll go back to one and watch all of them. Worth watching. Thank you so much, Kay and Dan. Maybe I'll say more about that, but I could really go off on a tangent there. And that is the list of channels that came up on my watch list, like I said, in the last 10 days to 2 weeks, and that is not even all of them. And let's be clear, getting a shout out on my channel is no big deal. I have about 230 subscribers, and my videos get an average of 80 to 90 views. Now, I actually totaled up the views and divided them by the number of videos to get that average. I admit that surprised me. I would have guessed about an average of 20 views per video. So thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for watching. I got a little excited there, but I just really appreciate that I'm getting that many views, and I hope that you continue to engage and comment, and thank you so much for watching. But back to where I was going with this, that getting a shout out on my channel is really, truly not a big deal. Monetization is probably not in my near future, and I probably can't help you get monetized. So it is really about the connections. I do want you to subscribe, and of course I want you to click the like, but most of all I want you to watch and comment, make a connection. I'm not in competition with anyone but myself. I only want to do better today than I did yesterday, and just hope that I don't backslide. That can happen. As to those I've mentioned, and perhaps those who I've not mentioned, don't think that I left you off this list because I don't like you or because I don't watch you. I do. If I've ever mentioned you here, I watch your videos, I like you, I will probably mention you again in the future. There are new videos that I'm watching. It's hard to keep up because you produce so much content that I want to be engaged with. If you watch me and you want me to say something about your channel, please say so. Put that in the comments below, or email me, or contact me some other way. I watch as much as I can and still be able to keep my job and maintain my household. So I'm having a lot of fun here. I hope you are too. Thank you for watching and listening to my little, I don't know if you'd call it a public service announcement, but that's kind of what it feels like. It is Wednesday, a little bit after noon here in Georgia. It's a rainy afternoon, so forgive the dim lighting if that's happening, and you might be able to hear rain in the background because my porch door is open and it is a spring day, a lovely spring rain. You see that I have an Afghan on my couch. It is my only Tunisian crochet project, and I will talk about it next time. As a special treat, if you've watched till now, as a special treat for staying with me through all of that, and please do check out those channels I've mentioned and more. We're a fiber community, and you know I enjoy being a part of it and appreciate each and every one of you. So I have a brief view of my felting process. I made some clips while I was hot water felting a medium to large size bag. It's probably close to the limit of what I'd like to handle. It got quite large when it got wet, and I talk about that, being concerned that the projects are getting too large for me to comfortably felt, but this one was just right. It went well, and I have a few clips for you to watch. And you probably hear the timer going off in the background. That means my lunch that's in the oven is ready for me. I have There's the timer. I have some roasted potatoes and onions and a red bell pepper in with a spicy chicken sausage that I'm going to have for my lunch. I go to work late this afternoon, so I like to have a big lunch so I can take a salad with me to have something light while I'm at work. So it's time to go, and I hope you enjoy these clips of my felting process. I'll see you again soon. Thank you. A peek. This is a solid black commission bag. I am about to hot water felt it. So I thought I would show you a few of its details before I do so. Has a knitted strap. The bag is knitted in stockinette stitch, and it is solid black. It's not coming out black here, but it is black. It has, in addition to the long strap that I showed you, it has some carry handles and a knitted pocket that's sewn in. This long strap also has some buttonholes, so the strap will be adjustable. And I do my felting. I often say I felt by hand in a pot in my kitchen sink. Here's my kitchen sink with a pot in it. And this is a giant cooking pot that I borrowed from church many years ago. And they let me keep it. I felt in it all the time. It is sitting in my kitchen sink, resting on a old sweatshirt just to keep the pot from scratching the sink. Sorry if you saw my dirty dishes there. And I have a pot of hot water here on the stove. I'm going to put the bag in the felting pot, add some hot water. I will agitate it at first with some wooden spoons because it's too hot to put my hands in there. And then once the water begins to cool off, I'll put on my rubber gloves and I will begin to agitate with soap. Here's my soaps. Any natural soap will do. You don't want to use detergent. So this is olive soap, some kind of spa soap, and probably Castile soap. So like I said, just as long as it's something natural and soapy. This is, of course, the superior product, the oil soap. But all of that, water, bag, soap will go in the pot, and it will probably take me a couple of hours to get it to felt to my satisfaction. And that's, felting for a few minutes and resting, and felting for a few minutes, adding hot water as needed. And like I said, this is a sneak peek of both the bag and my process. If you wonder what the next stage of the process looks like, it doesn't look like much. It is a big wet piece of wool, and this is the whole bag in the water, hot water. I have on my rubber gloves, and I'm just beginning to agitate it. You can still see the knit stitches, although they have become slightly fuzzy. That means that they're going to start felting soon. But at this point, the object is very large and stretchy and heavy. So it will be a little while before it actually starts to become a felted object. And I'm kind of taking my time, not rushing it, so that I can watch and control somewhat the felting process. here is the bag. It's in the pot, but there's no water in there, so you can see it just a little bit better and see that it has begun to felt. It has begun to become fabric, and the knit stitches are less noticeable. It's looking good. I can tell it's going to felt well. I did choose a yarn that I have experience with. This is a commercial yarn, Patent Classics wool. So I know it felts well. And dark colors have a tendency to felt more quickly, although I don't know why. One thing I have to keep a close eye on in this process is this strap, this flat strap. Of course, it won't shrink like the rest of the bag because it is a flat piece, not a piece that's sewn together like the bag is. So it needs a little bit more attention. And also where the strap feeds through this hole here that allows the strap to move and be adjustable. This strap can fold in half as it goes through there and become felted, folded in half instead of flat. So I have to keep a close eye on that. And it's going well. It's going very well. Things are starting to look more like fabric. And it is coming out to be the shape and size. Well, the shape, I hope it would be. It has quite a bit more shrinking to do. It's still quite large. It will shrink. It will continue to shrink. It's now much later in the day. When I first started talking to you this morning, it was, I think, about 10 or 10:30. Now it's about 6:15 in the evening. I have been felting on this bag off and on all day. Not so much this afternoon, but I got a lot done on it this morning, and then I came back to it this afternoon. And it is not completely felted. It still has some shrinking and felting to do, but you can see that its appearance has changed significantly from this morning. It's much more fabric-like. You can't see any of the knit stitches there in the flat strap. You can still see some of the garter stitch definition, which is partly why I like to make the strap that way, as it does end up having a little bit of texture. The carry straps are firmly attached. I sewed them on, and now that they have been felted, they are firmly attached to the bag. The pocket looks nice. And the guides where the crossbody or shoulder strap feeds through the bag, those look good. You can see that strap does feed through there. And that's just fuzz from the yarn that you see, which is a good deal of why I do it in a pot instead of in the kitchen sink. So if there is any fuzz or dye, I can get rid of it. I put the used water in a bucket and take it outside and get rid of it. And I do, throughout the day, I start with hot soapy water, and when the water cools off, then I drain that into a bucket to get rid of it, and then I add more hot soapy water, and that's what I've done all day. Well, like I said, the morning and the late afternoon, because I did take a nap in the middle of the day. This felting can make me a little bit tired, so I gave into a nap, and the nap ran kind of long, as naps can do. But I hope you've enjoyed this sneak peek into my process. Here is the bag right out of the felting pot. It's completely felted, but I have not begun to dry it at all. So I've just pulled it out of the water, squeezed the excess water out. I'm going to roll it up in this towel that it's laying on, get some more of the water out. Probably do the same thing again, roll it up again in a dry towel, and then it will be ready to lay out and dry. And the drying can take a couple of days. So I'll hopefully talk to you a little bit about that as we go on, but I wanted you to see it at this point. I won't try not to go off on a tangent. So this is the carry handles. This is the closure. There'll be a button on the inside that closure attaches to. Has a pocket. And the long strap. That will be adjustable because it has some buttonholes. Here it is, laid out, flat to dry. It is still very wet. It will take hours for it to dry. I have a fan here that's going to be blowing on it a little bit. And then once it begins to get dry, after a few hours, then I will do some more shaping. But it has a very nice shape. It came out the shape and close to the size I anticipated. I'm quite pleased with it. And I just thought you might like to see it at this stage where you can see the shape of it just a little bit.